So, Invincible Season 3 is finally wrapped up, and I know, I'm like a week late to the party, but hey, better late than never, right? I mean, unlike Omni-Man, I actually came back. Too soon? Okay. Anyway, let me tell you, this season is one hell of a ride. As I'm recording this video, the season has wrapped up, and I have to say, I'm so glad with what we got. This season is extraordinary, particularly when it comes to its writing, which is without a doubt some of the best we've seen in the entire series. The stakes are higher, the emotional moments hit harder than a Viltrumite punch, and the character development is on another level. And that being said, it's not all perfect. There are definitely some issues that I'm going to dive into because, let's be honest, no show is completely flawless. Except maybe Breaking Bad, but that's a different conversation. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to take a second to thank you all for your amazing support. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Now let's get right into the video. First off, let's talk about the writing, because honestly, this is where Season 3 really shines. The writers have absolutely nailed it this season. The overall story is more layered, more intricate, and it really explores the gray areas of morality in ways we haven't really seen before. Invincible doesn't just ask, what does it mean to be a hero? It literally asks, what does it mean to be a good person when you live in a world where everyone is a bad day away from ripping someone's spine out. And the finale in particular deserves a very special mention. It was hands down the most gripping and intense episode of the season. Maybe even the whole series. I mean, in my opinion, it's up there with the Omni-Man fight. And I think it's safe to say most of the budget went into that finale. And by most, I mean almost all of it. Pretty sure they animated the first few episodes with Microsoft Paint just to save money for the last two. I mean, they are literally just moving PNGs. But using that as a criticism for Season 3 isn't really fair. That's been an issue ever since Season 1, really. Look at this scene of Mark flying in Season 1. But while the finale was a high point, it's worth acknowledging that the season wasn't all smooth sailing. One of the most refreshing things about Invincible is how it doesn't just focus on Mark, though. This season really took the time to explore the side characters, and the results were incredibly rewarding. Take Mark's and Eve's relationship, for example. The two of them have been through so much, and this season finally gives us a chance to see them become a couple and mature together as the same mentioned couple.
I messed everything up, Eve.
Do you remember how we said the future version of me wasn't me?
Yeah.
Well, the future version of you isn't you either. Whatever that was, it wasn't our future. Not anymore, at least.
I still killed him.
Yeah, but it sounds like he was ready to go. I know that doesn't solve this, but we will get through it. Together. And if you ever turn into a giant world-conquering I will kick your until you're back in line, okay?
They're not just two superheroes fighting side by side anymore. They're learning how to balance their personal lives with their world-ending threats. You know, normal couple problems with everyday humans. Also, I'd like to mention Oliver, Mark's younger brother. Also, he got some major development this season, aside from quite literally growing the fuck up. You know, he was a baby. And let's just say that this kid's been reading Omni-Man's parental manual, because watching Oliver wrestle with the morality of being a hero is fascinating. Especially when he starts wondering, wait, should I just kill villains instead? Why would I keep them alive?
You can't just kill people and pretend it's no big deal.
You and Mom say I need to be responsible with my powers. Isn't it responsible to make sure that the bad guys never hurt anyone else?
Life is precious. We don't just take it.
It's not precious. People kill each other all the time, and most people aren't even special like us. They're just normal.
You sound just like Dad.
Watching Oliver kind of reminded me of that rooftop scene from Daredevil Season 2 with Punisher, which is just chef's kiss. And speaking of unexpected surprises, my man, Rexplode. Rexplode actually got a redemption arc. I know, it sounds impossible, but he did. The guy who spent most of the earlier seasons being the human embodiment of bad decisions actually had some solid character growth. I didn't think it was possible, but yet here we are. Character development is real, folks. Who knew that not being a total jerk could make a character likable? But that's not really groundbreaking stories. Rex has been on a redemption arc ever since Season 2, but this season it really pays off, especially, spoiler alert, with his sacrifice, which, holy fuck. And I didn't expect Billie Eilish. I guess that's where the budget went instead of the animation. Also, one of the most intriguing aspects of the same mentioned season is the ongoing debate between Cecil and Mark. You know the show is good when the fan base is literally debating if Cecil or Mark are right. Who's right? I mean, Cecil is always thinking several steps ahead. He's the kind of guy who, who would play chess against himself just to make sure nobody wins. Mark, on the other hand, is more idealistic and naive, to be honest. He believes in doing the right thing no matter the cost. This season really challenges that mindset. Cecil calls Mark out hard, and he's got a point. Mark is willing to forgive his father, Omni-Man, for all the horrors he committed, but refuses to extend that same forgiveness to anyone else. Like, oh, this guy, killed thousands of people. I'll never forgive him. My dad, however, he showed signs of goodness. It's like saying, yeah, my dad burned down my house, but he said sorry, so we're good. Meanwhile, everyone else who so much as breaks a window is like permanently cancelled. This moral battle is one of the strongest elements of the season, and it adds so much depth not only to Cecil's character, but to Mark's as well. And we also get to see bits of Cecil's backstory, which, like most things in the show, has been improved from the comic books. But I think we need to address the elephant in the room again. That's the animation. Alright, now, let's talk about the animation. On one hand, when the animation is good, it's phenomenal. The action sequences in the last few episodes, chef's kiss, pure spectacle. The kind of animation that makes you forget reality exists for a second. But then, there's the other side. The first few episodes, oof. Some fight scenes look so stiff that I thought my internet was fucking lagging, and I was watching it on a downloaded file. I know Amazon is a bitch when it comes to giving the budget. I mean, The Boys has a way bigger budget, yet Invincible, who's performing just as well, has like a fraction of it. The most frustrating part, the animation just suddenly improved in the last 2 episodes. It's like a big jump. Also, we cannot talk about season 3 without addressing the Invincible War. It's a beautiful adaptation of it, and I've seen people complaining that it was only 1 episode. Motherfucker, in the comics, it was like a couple of panels and that's it, It doesn't last that long in the comics either, so it's supposed to be a short event. But holy fuck was it animated good. It looked beautiful, and all I can say is just pure words of praise. But we also cannot talk about the finale without addressing the biggest issue of the season. Cecil's decision in the end to keep Conquest alive. I mean, Cecil has always been the guy who has backup plans for his backup plans. I mean, this man could outmaneuver Batman on a bad day, and yet in the finale, he makes a choice that kind of feels out of character. Like, I know that he kept the horrible scientist that turns people into mindless robots and shit. This is Conquest we're talking about. I mean, he traps Conquest, one of the deadliest villains we've ever seen, that even Mark barely beat, in a quote-unquote unbreakable metal container. No fail-safes, no implants, no backup plan, just quote-unquote unbreakable metal container. Bro, this is like putting a bear in a cardboard box and saying, yeah, that should hold him. How did anyone think that was a good idea? It completely undermines Cecil's intelligence, and it's by far, like, for me at least, the most frustrating moment of the season. But now let's move on to my final thoughts, which are that despite the animation struggles and Cecil's questionable choices, the season is still an incredible ride. The writing is strong, and the moral dilemmas add so much depth to the story. It's not perfect, but it's still one of the best superhero shows out there. I mean, compare this to anything Marvel, and it makes it look like the Mona Lisa of superheroes. And let's be real, Rex Explode's redemption alone was worth watching the season. But nevertheless, it had its ups and downs. It was still good. I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people did too. The season also sparked a lot of memes. For example, the Invincible War OC meme, or like the fact that it's basically the Walking Dead rematch between Glenn versus Negan. Because the voice actor of Invincible played Glenn in The Walking Dead, and the voice actor of Conquest played Negan. So, they both get to duke it out once more. This time around, Glenn gets the upper hand. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed this season, and I can't wait to see what season 4 will bring. But we're probably not getting it soon, but I'm pretty sure The Boys will come around in the corner, so that will keep us entertained in the meantime. But until the next time, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.